Welcome, everybody. Welcome to teamfortress.tv. Welcome to our Twitch evening here on this fine day of ETF2L 6v6 Autumn 2023. I'm never going to get used to that naming convention. I prefer the big old 40 numbers, 50 numbers, but we're getting up there now. Speaking of getting up, we've also got Dum-Tum out of bed to cast some of the TF2. How are we feeling, Dum-Tum?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, it's season 46 now.
Whew.
Coming up for everyone here. This is going to be our first game of the season. I believe a lot of games the first week actually going to be a little late, so I don't know if we're going to see much more until Sunday, let alone next week. That's when a lot of games will be happening. This will be our intro for the season, and it's an interesting storyline right away with teams from very different walks of life from last season as well.
Yeah, these two teams that you are kind of insinuating are Garda Panteri and Varmkorv boogie. Varmkorv obviously won the Div 1 last season, as you know, Dum-Tum, so they are going straight into Prem. I don't believe there's many changes to the lineup from my memory, but, do correct me in that. Meanwhile, on Garda, I think we haven't had any changes on this side either. Actually, two teams unscathed by the little break. I'm shocked.
Yeah, pretty much. Garda looks exactly the same, I believe, as well. The only thing that changed is Kurtz's name to Jarlan, but that already happened last season as well. Otherwise, the roster stays the same, and I can't really fault him for that, right? It went pretty alright last season. Might only have barely gotten 4th seed in the end. In fact, if you look at the archives now, today, you might see that they actually have one less point due to forgetting to upload results for the playoffs games than TLR has, but that doesn't change anything after the fact anymore. Bagel boogie on the other end, yeah, won Div 1. It was a very highly contested Div 1 as well. A lot of close games there, including in playoffs, where everything was just really hard fought for battles, but took it home in the end. Only roster change they had is Tendon stepping down, I believe, and being on sub now. I guess he couldn't finish last season anyway due to injury-related reasons, if I remember correctly. Couldn't finish that off. They picked up Ox in the middle of that season as from the sub to main, basically, and clearly it's been going all right. Trusted the guy. I've seen the guy rise up from, I think, low at the time all the way to making it here now as well. So that's a very interesting one. And a different storyline, which I already brought up internally on TFTV as well, is that I could have sworn that their medic CEO has played 6's Prem before. It feels like he has. He played like Prem Highlander so long. He played Div 1, Div 2 at the top for a long time as well. But I fact-checked he didn't. Someone tried to correct me. No, actually he has a Prem medal, but he didn't play a single game that season. He was just rostered for TCM at the time. But it was Grabber that played medic instead on the Polish team. At that point in history, that was season 40, I believe. So, actually, this is his Prem debut. Doesn't feel like it. And quite frankly, I don't think it will for anyone else either. We know how good this man is on Medic, so this is not coming too much of a surprise. He's making it to Prem eventually now.
All right, just to kind of catch everybody up with all these new names and faces, or maybe the old ones as well. Over on Garda Panteri is Fios on Medic, Shappy on Lovable Demoman, Mankey and Bud are playing the Soldier class, Yarlin and Menex will be playing Scout. I can take a guess at maybe like Pockets and all this stuff, but I feel like teams do switch it up, so I am not going to dare, at least in the world of week 1. Anyway, on the side of Varmkorv boogie, we have Shio on Medic, Yumpo on Demoman, Aaron Tur on, again, Soldier, Ox on Soldier, they could be switched, I don't know. Hugh G on Scout as alongside Onga.
Yeah, very interesting to see them make it this far as well. Much like Ox as well. This is the team, especially in the players in general, that I've seen come up from just open in general, right? They've been here as long as I can remember.
Team.
Yeah, they've really been climbing together as well, both in 6's and Highlander. I think they both made it 2 Prem within this year now as well, slowly but surely after rising the ranks, winning a couple of divisions on the way as well, or at least making grand finals a lot of the time for sure. So, very nice to see them make the finish. I think, the most established names here are Impo and Xio. Xio has been around for a while, of course, as well. Picked up on Medic last season for them. Impo has been on the team already 2 or 3 seasons ago. However, they got him mid-season because he tilted too much. Turns out, character development, it's now all right. He also had a short stint in Prem and Div 1 after leaving that team as well in the meantime. So, he took a little break somewhere else. It worked out well for him, it seems like, and well enough for them to gather back again here now, all this time later, to make it work. On the flip side, Garda, they played well last season, but you do have to consider as well, I think they never showed up with all 6 people last season 1. I think Josh played half the season for them. One point they had leave off the soldiers show up as well. It was a bit of a weird one there in the end. And now they need to just make sure that the knowledge the Major has bestowed upon them will be worth it.
Yeah, they've been putting at the hours. There are mistakes that do kind of reel themselves in, And I would say they never play like flawless TF2, but the ceiling seems high. Like I see glimmers of brilliance, I think, from Garda Panteri, especially from the soldiers, I think, but maybe that's just my soldier heart beating in my chest. I've got a question for you, though, Dumtum. So many times we see Div 1 teams go off, win Div 1, and then get put into Prem, and then sometimes mulched into the ground. Is this one of those seasons, or do you think that sort of Div 1 stint is going to have them quite prepared into this upcoming Prem season?
I think this is a really tough Div 1 season to move up from. Sometimes it's like you see the winners like be really, really strong. I don't think this time it's going to be easy at all. Garda is like, I think every time they're playing, they're shooing for like 4th or 5th. They're like the playoffs Guardians in Prem whenever they show up. I think though this time is no exception. Even if I can't see them not make it, given the competition level this season, I can very easily see them just as well make it still in the end if they just win 1-2 close games maybe on the way. But it's a really competitive season. Both the French rosters look really good. The German roster is strong. Amps put an interesting roster together as well. Garda is right in front of us here today. I'm sure we'll see a decent performance out of them. TLR is basically the same as last season. We were on the same level as Garda. And Mandem as well. We have top 3, from last season still stay around after Witness. So
yeah, it is certainly going to be a kind of an opportunity. Chaos is a ladder, Dumtum, and that means somebody has to stand on the top of it. Speaking of standing on top, we've got Sunshine, the big bell tower of a map, in our sort of first sight lines, it seems. I thought they would play this map second. They should kind of technically call into ETF2L, but I don't think nobody cares in the grand scheme of things. I think ETF2L are just happy as long as they play the map. So who do you think is going to take it in this first map of Sunshine?
I can't put my vote against anything but Garda. I think they're just going to win this game tonight. I do want to see Varmkorv boogie put up a good performance, because if they can make this competitive, there is games that can very much still win this season, I feel like, but it's going to be a difficult one right away.
Yeah, I'm going to be a contrary. I think you can see teams kind of shaking off rust in that initial weeks. Week 1s are the bread and butter of upsets, and I feel it in my bones. This is going to be a good one.
Sunshine. I will explain why most teams are playing week 2 and week 1 instead.
Yeah, touche. All right. So we have our performance of Team Fortress TV's broadcast, ETF2L 6v6 Autumn 2023. It's week 1, baby. It's Garda Panteri versus Varmkorv boogie with Turbo Tabs and Dumtum and Dr. Underscore. What's happening on mid, Dumtum?
Quick roll out for now. Ooh, never mind. They're rolling up so quick. They're in enemy choke already. Scout walks right at them, and one sticky right after takes the mat down right away. They did not anticipate that. Ever so often you see teams rotate around enemies out on this mid fight. They're playing into that expectation right away on Garda and reaping the rewards for it. And now they just have to play hide and seek a little bit in this little building, and it's just enough from there. Bombs come through, but they're not getting close to that medic in the end. They had one good call out, and instantly it might just win them the round.
I think half of the team kind of took a back bench there. They were thinking, okay, we're just on medic protecting duty. You guys just go bananas. And Yarlin was like taking little fights in them for himself. And just, the longer that fight ticked down without a medic, the more he was going to go towards Garda's way.
Not bad, not bad. Gives them nice momentum right away on the side of Garda. Let's see if they can just perform one last already. Hughie's gun going down nice and quick. Probably will rebuild a little bit here, but at least it's not going to be the biggest gun it could be. Showing up from lower, it looks like. Interesting. But they're taking the time, buffing everyone up, want to get prepared before they go in here. But push comes through from lower, right into that gun. Take that thing down as well. No cap time yet. Just getting over point, making space for the rest of the team to follow. Eat a lot of damage on the way there, including Red going down on the blue team. In the meantime, actually had time to get to do it. They took too long.
Yeah, they were. I kind of appreciate it when teams really get their ducks in order, but God, you were kind of dusting and shining those things. They were taking so long to get in, and especially after they've taken the sentry gun out, you usually see that as a sign to start getting a bit more, forward and antsy with your pushes.
And will cost them pretty badly as well. Sticky some point, don't claim any kills, some of that. Varmkorv boogie in a pretty good position to take the second point and maybe go further from here, especially if anyone dies trying to test. And they're trying a little bit still through this choke point. Luckily, no one's dying there in the end, so kind of might be fine to set up a little bit on mid. They get the spawner close enough on Ubers that there's likely not a small advantage push from the blue side, but you never know for sure until they try or not, I guess, in this case, which certainly looks like that's the case. Just sitting back, getting the Uber up for now. Figuring out how they play this from here. Don't want to rush things too much, but they're still taking a chance. It's not a big ad, like I said, but they want to see what they can do.
Yeah, the soldiers don't quite make a play onto that cafe core as they do come out to the mid, but they are seeing a lot of eyeballs set onto them. Everybody's getting a part of this Uber, whilst over on the Garda Panteri Uber, it's looking very Mendex focused. So because of that, I think this Uber is just a little bit stronger. They do kite them back into that cafe, and the flank decides to come in now, realizing they don't really have the backup of the core, so they're just going to lose those two flanking players immediately to the scouts of Garda.
Yeah, a bit odd timing for the soldiers to commit that deep into choke. Well, like you said, no one was really there in time. Red team now, Small Idea wants to get in quick here, but maybe a bit too fast on that one. Dies pretty much immediately, but I mean, numbers are still kind of favoring them a little bit. They still don't like their chances. That is still Mankey not really committed on the flank, just sitting back, trying to, you know, watch it, no one's flanking them while the rest of the combo makes space with numbers falling apart a little bit. They don't like their chances too much. Take it back to mid. And surprisingly slow gameplay of Garda so far, I would say, this game, but they haven't even played 5 minutes yet. There's still plenty of ways to change things back around. Do need to see what, first of all, that was, mind you, also a big problem there they just didn't have yet. So how much are you willing to commit after one person dies? Without a new side?
Does seem like a rally back and forth. I feel like both teams have just like one player left in the tank they could throw in, but they're just a bit more hesitant to bringing them out. Shia will take a bomb, but won't force the Uber, so with that as well, they got some of these choke points locked down over on Boogie. This allows them to get in. Shappy's all alone, he's gonna go down, and that's a mid defo for the Varmkorv boogie.
Yeah, you wanted to see them go in. They sent like 2 people in and 3 people died in the end. Someone just got caught on the crossfire in the end as well, especially with the Dowerman after everything already settled regardless. Looks kind of rough, however, they still have one more left in the tank despite all that. But a bomb coming through, served right up into the choke point, doing massive damage. It's 2 for it as well. Just blue team so indecisive if they want to go in there or not, and just eating so much spam.
These soldiers, Bud and Mankey, just doing so well, rotating them out back and forth and keeping themselves alive most importantly, and now they just bring off their numbers into that mid and just focus fire the same sort of Deadman. He melts from mid-range, and now they're on the back foot on second. I do get a little bit worried that they want to hold on to this a bit too earnestly, as they will pop off Uber now. It's a single Uber onto Huji trying to get in. There has not been an Uber forced over on Garda Panteri.
They dropped! Okay, how do you drop that? Dude, I talked about this just earlier. Sometimes you just have to take the Uber and not hold forever. They didn't want to use that Uber at all. They wanted this for last instead of just chasing them out through second with invincibility and kill them on the way out. And sometimes you just dream too big. That's gotta cost them real badly here. As so often, the easy part of Medic is not to use Uber.
And I think during that, I think Bud expected them to push in with the heals, but because they were actually taking their time instead, a bit kind of contrary, they will get farmed quite easily. A little trap does get a nice little set of kills, and making it a bit hairy for Varmkorv boogie, but it's still a Varmkorv boogie mid.
Yana takes it back right away. They still have add out of this whole thing too, right? I mean, if he drops like that, you're gonna just sit there as long as he might stays alive. You'll be fine at the end of it.
Still regardless. Holding in second though over on Garda. Either they've got excellent timing of when this Uber's happening, or they're showing a little bit of respect. They will pop off the Uber charge now. That comes out from the force from Bud, and this is just kind of like extra safe, I guess, for second. They can't really make this work going into last.
I think Errantry just like Tetris T-spin the rocket like through the entirety of dungeon somehow, shooting like down below into that area from top. I don't know how he did that, but it hit the scout and killed him through like 10 walls. No idea how he did that. Heat-seeking missile going down into the lower area. That's good news, I guess. It keeps the point secure for now, but I don't know for long, because that feels super now. They popped into basically nothing, trying desperately to get anything out of it. Push across, get past. Actually, they don't get past the secret trap. Never mind. They do it pretty quickly. That's kind of dashing the chances. You could still try to go in, but it's like a far cry from a good idea at this point.
Yeah, it just feels really bad when you're just losing any sort of player to push out of a second successfully like that. So they got Huji on Sniper. He was mainly there, I think, to kind of deal with the second push, but now he's been upgraded to last privileges. So let's see how he wants to take this option. I don't think they're aware of him, so this first shot should sting a little bit more than the others.
Looks like there was a spy check going in. Yeah, Manix was on 5 for a second in the sides. Actually, we're fighting fire. Sniper rifles coming out. But no, he's only half the battle. The other half is still killing the guy, so we'll see if they can manage that.
Fastest finger first. I see a body shot onto a soldier, but that be it probably. He's getting crossbowed up, so that's the end of this kit and caboodle. Let's see if he has a bit more success on the other side of the map. I'm not seeing it though. But give it enough time, enough shots, statistics say that he should get a headshot, but you've got...
there's one!
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly kill, but the body shot sure cleans up in the end. That's good enough, I suppose. But Sniper can only hit tank so much damage in the end. What do you do from here, though? This is, I suppose the hardest map to actually follow up on out of last. They're trying to throw some damage in, but taking more than he's healing, though, and that's just not going to be happening in the end, it looks like. Still a bit of follow-up stand, see if they can do anything off of that, but... with barely a sniper kill that's already respawning, it's just not much.
Roaming Mankey is doing roaming things. He's going to go behind and die. Bless Mankey, though. I think he maybe did that for my privilege. Thank you, Mankey. I don't need to know who's roaming and pocketing anymore.
We've all been in that situation, just trying our hardest to make it play alone, but sometimes you need a bit more than that, a little bit more of a concerted effort, especially into last, to really break things open, so... just demo spam alone won't quite do it, but what else do they have? Whatever they're trying to do on the left side while the right side spam's coming in, it's getting taken down by a lot of damage right away. No one's really having too much freedom there as well. And they're just sending bombs in deep. They saw the heals. They won in on that right away. Both soldiers going for the kill, but neither can get it in the end.
Alright, let's see what... you've got a good opportunity here if you're on Varmkorv boogie. So how are they going to take it? They're going to take it... oh god, they can't take it slow. They've already lost 1 out of 2. They could probably spend in trying to push this out in. They just back out. They just don't think it's rich enough of an opportunity to keep going.
Not quite yet anyway. This is already a bit of a differently paced game than what I anticipated from tonight. Garda is put to the test already.
But so far, I'm impressed by everybody. It feels like everyone's doing the correct decision. It's very much an execution and everything. So this is good. I was a little bit worried it might get so messy and kind of nonsensical that we're just throwing in bad decisions. But this is solid from everybody involved.
You might just be very... very having big whiplash from the mid game earlier. Might be partly the cause here, but we'll see. Spy coming into last, maybe that's going to be the big difference maker now. Something's got to do it. Maybe the Spy class can.
He's actually looking to hold a bit clear. Oh my god, a pipe actually hit him. And Shappy, I'm not sure if you've even noticed, they got a headshot on the man as well. Hurts the soul.
Alright, well that's still only 1-for-1 trade in the end, unfortunately, with Mankey also dying, so really what has been accomplished with that?
1 minute left on the time, that's what's been accomplished. That means they're going to get the round reset and they're going to have another crack at mid, and to say how well the mid went for Garda, I see why they want to opt for this option.
Let's see if they can make anything happen. So often I've seen people, even with the new time limit, just wait until the last minute and then actually make a play. That somehow works. Maybe this is one of those, suddenly get the exchange out pretty quickly, they got not so much, and the good position's also still a bit of a struggle for them, as Impo is just getting juggled all over the place, hits the night pipe on the scout, that comes a little late there, but I mean, they don't have a choice, they have to go in. Soldiers on point, getting big damage, Devilman not even work anymore, but who cares, they get the soldiers in front of the heavy, and that's not a body block at all anymore. Why did this take 5 minutes to do? I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so the reason why they didn't want to go for that opting earlier is, on paper, this should lose, but in the game, the medic and the sentry were occupying the same space. You're not forcing sort of spread of time if you just take one Demoman to kill both the sentry and force the Uber. And then they just kind of went off like the bravery of like, oh, we've only got so much time left, let's just get in play on the point anyway. And it worked because they were just standing so close they weren't in the position to block it.
Okay, big bomb right away, but gets the medic. He just needs to lift this one, but I already see a guy behind them, and that's cause for trouble right away. That's good enough. Scout cleans up while the soldier runs into the escape plan. We take those, baby.
The control point is being contested.
Alright, so this is very good for Varmkorv boogie, because obviously losing mids is dime a dozen dum-tum, but adapting your mids is a whole different skill set and kind of the reason that will make the top team. So seeing this sort of adaptation comes out for Varmkorv is giving me high hopes for them.
How about adapting from after the mid fight? Because I'm seeing a critical right here. And that certainly will change things up for better or for worse.
Brave. I'm not a big believer in modern day crits, but I always want to be proven wrong.
It's a thin line between brave and stupid.
It's just so countable. You can just have everybody synced up so well to just jump.
But what if you just hit the first sticky?
But even then, I don't think it just does enough damage. I think it doesn't even kill a soldier.
Believe in the impo that believes in you, that hits the
well,
second
one sticky was shot, but
that
it wasn't
hits
a
the
crit.
first sticky. I mean, he hits them next life, okay? Just you wait.
So there goes your crits. Your medic hasn't died as well, so it's definitely confirmed that the crits is on the cards to deal with for the rest of Garda. So they have an Uber charge. They could probably just keep saying this forward and forward and forward, realizing that they have this kind of counter-all maneuver, this silver bullet for Varmkorv. So they're just going to claim their free mid.
Yeah, nice and easy. Barely even had to do anything for that. I went and spammed the demo man, and turns out that guy wasn't the biggest threat either in the end. So nice and easy so far. Still got to get into second, and as much as you do have a cozy Zaluba ad, you do have to be careful right now. Don't want to get forced by nothing. Don't want to get surprised by the crit streak still getting popped for no reason as well. And it's coming in either way. They're trying the hardest to hit something, but there's a tower in the way. It's going to be hard times actually landing anything on a medic. Force does still come out in the end, but you got to lift this one too, and they're just going to dip nice and early. And I mean, crits or not, this was just an Uber exchange I lost.
Yeah, they're not being fancy with the Uber though over on Garda. They just popped off straight away. I don't think Fios was even any danger there. Just wanted to kind of pop it off and just make sure nothing was given up to that crit. They do lose out on Bud, but he's already kind of exchanged somebody for that life. And yeah, we're just kind of in that stalematey awkward bit where we're just spamming sentry guns, being annoying.
I mean, they don't have much of a choice. They just got to make sure that before they even can think about getting out, they got to make sure that they can stay here and stay alive. On Varmkorv boogie, they have this lead, but it's barely there as well. And you don't want to disappoint yourselves throwing away a lead in your first Prem game ever for some of these guys. So, want to make sure you can stay on last for a little bit longer, maybe.
So, sentry gun brought to level 2, so it should be kind of difficult. They've actually got Pyro to deal with at the gate, so, and they even pop off Uber very early. Kind of uncharacteristic in a way, but I guess just keeping things super simple for Varmkorv.
Yeah, I don't even mind Pyro so much on this map if it's with the gun that's fought on the defender's left side, someone like the little high ground they have here, where the gun's being put up now, basically. Because I can't just deny all the spam that they will have to throw that way, and you still deny like people trying to force their way in through the close entrance as well, but that's not really how it's being played as well right now.
That sentry gun, just as it was moved perfectly, they came around the corner and ended up having to spam it down, so all that work for nothing. Dun.
Well, I mean, there was no way Omega could have stopped that on Pyro, right? That's impossible. I always am curious why people run the Greaser in 6s. Like, surely you don't switch to do damage enough for it to matter, right? You just want the one extra air blast without having to worry about running out of ammo? I don't know, I'm not good at the game, but it feels like the obvious choice.
Maybe the man's a pubber, you know? He just wants to play some pub TF2 in his spare time, and Pyro is like that perfect, relaxing thing. You just sometimes leave those unlocks, you know, in the aftermath. Forget about it.
I know he used to be a scrap TF user, so he definitely has an expensive Degreaser Strange probably lying around that he wants to see some use out of.
Alright, another Uber, another dawn, another day. There's a sentry gun's moved a bit more forward now in that forward hold position that Garda actually ran off. So it stops moments like that happening, where Scout just runs in, hoping to just W onto his medic, but I don't know here. I wonder what sort of they've got in the playbook for Garda to deal with this. They could probably recreate something that was similar for Varmkorv, where they just kind of played point after an Uber exchange.
Well, if I had to guess what the play is, it's going to be waiting 2 more minutes and then win out of nowhere. With how it's been going so far, anyway.
Let's see if Shio doesn't occupy the same space as the sentry gun when the Ubers come in, because that was probably the bad situation that was created for Garda.
Maybe so. It's going to be tough still. Gun at front wall on this map does not make it easy to get close to it to begin with. It's really a problem. It's the same idea as most front wall guns, I guess. It's like you have to go so far into the sideline of the thing as well to actually get anywhere. In the meantime, people have like so much real estate in their favor to shoot you on the way there as well. It is pretty straightforward. And then there's also still dispenser ammo. It's just making it really difficult. All the while you're being stared down by a sniper who's just not letting you go forward to begin with. Things are difficult. Sometimes you just have to take the forward. I mean, you can argue all you want about maybe they shouldn't have done it like this and shouldn't have gotten away with it the most support and Varmkorv boogie earlier, but maybe this is just something that you do want to commit Uber for sooner or later.
They, again, the answer's hitting them in the face, but I think it's just because they want that timer work going down just to make it so they can't lose their second if things go a bit pear-shaped. Yeah, just exactly like Varmkorv had it earlier, and it would go to another round reset.
That is a fun idea, but again, like, you still have to get another round afterwards to win, and you're just robbing yourself of a lot of time to do that as well afterwards.
Yeah, but sometimes the best way to attack a last is just to win second really, really hard, and that sets up for that opportunity, I guess.
We'll see. Time is ticking. Less than a minute left to go.
Definitely the time to go if they're going to make it happen.
As well. I was just noting earlier how few contests we've seen since the battalion suspend. It used to be played much more alongside battalions as well. It's just fought out really hard. No one really likes it much anymore, it feels like. Just complete and fought now don't matter again, but the Orcs can make it count a little bit. On defense, it's strange to see as well, but I mean, it's just extra heals, I guess, on us, so it's defensible very much. So in this situation, like now they just get a little bit of extra healing here and there off the beam as well, which is nice. But is that enough? It's gonna run out before the repush comes, and that's really all about now.
No, the repush is delayed way too much, and they've even set up another level 1 sentry gun to be annoying with. But they do lose Hugie, and they're thrown in, and they've got on top of Yumpo. He's probably gonna. Oh no, he survives at the last second, and yeah, there we go. There's the stalemate. Round reset incoming.
Well, not so bad for Varmkorv boogie so far. I mean, if all it takes to win now is to just, do some more not losing like they've been doing so far, then it's within reach to just win the premier game of the season, I suppose, right away. Take home at least 3 points already.
You do have a plan from Varmkorv now. It's much easier to play a defense setting in TF2, so with that in their back pocket, they might be able to steal this one then.
Let's see, but the best way to not lose is to just win some more, so they're going for damage and we're hitting the stick snipes. Where were these early on crit creek? He didn't need 3 times damage, he just hits them anyway.
Yeah, they're throwing everybody in now, but...
They are throwing.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, when you have 5 players stacked up on your half of the map, and just kind of playing it super, super safe. And I think they already kind of had a head count as well. They know that their blob wasn't going to contest and fight them like that. They just had to watch out for the jumpers, which they did. And yeah, it's Varmkorv boogie. It's more than certainly are in the driver's seat right now. It's up to their game to lose.
Unfortunate ending there. They had such a good start, and Sirius still gets sniped down in the end as well. Give Garda some hope to push back. You immediately get some good damage as well. Info trying to push back aggressively against that. Get some good damage onto Shappy, but where's the rest of the team? Omga's really weak. Ox isn't exactly healthy either. Has to pull back a little bit, but Scout teams up a little bit, gives them hope here still. It's highly contested. Garda doesn't want to give this one up just because they lost one Scout. They got him so far in already, and Shappy's back to full health pretty much. It's just a matter of the medics being kind of weak. Theos has to be really careful right now. A single spare pipe even. It's just gonna kill the guy right away. Has to be incredibly careful here, but they're hitting the damage. Demo Man goes down. They're keeping their ground, and at this point, it looks like the Blue Scout might just get disconnected from the rest of the team. Don't get enough from it just yet as well, but they're just deciding to go all in and Fields with arrows out. Didn't see the bomb coming. Well, there's 3 people just trying to hunt down this medic. And I can't blame them for not being ready for that. You'd think with this much space in their favor, they would just leave, but they did not give up whatsoever.
I can't believe with just having a forward respawn that should, on paper, go to Varmkorv's way, but Garda just managed to just grit their teeth and hold it together. There were opportunities for Varmkorv, but they just didn't play off them. I think they had maybe just a little bit too much on their plate between everyone, so maybe nicely timed from Garda, as they do lose out on their soldiers trying to make a play. They have to pop the Uber as well over on Xiao, so... I mean, it could be better, could be worse for both squads.
At the end, right, any situation that just ends not disastrous, just not great, I guess, on the side of Varmkorv boogie, it's just fine, right? Yeah. They don't need much more than that. Sure, they're getting mid even without advantage from here if it doesn't go forward just yet. It's not the end of the world.
Well, everyone got their forwards over on Garda, so they should be able to get back into the fight, and I think that should be enough to get mid off of Varmkorv, even though they have a Uber bubbling soon. And probably could win that. But if they feed him Mankey like that, that's going to give a bit of confidence to Varmkorv. But and they're back into the midpoint, taking the fight. Demoman goes down, Uber out, and not really much to show for it in a way. They could keep going back in with this Varmkorv. Block that mid.
They have the threat of D1 as well. You really don't actually want to use this. You try to just bluff the fact that you have Uber here as well, but it's not much of a bluff if you do have to use it in the end. They do lose getting all the way in there, gets the force out immediately, just didn't fear at all.
They're going to come back in. These soldiers...
They don't have Uber, they're only 5.
Yumpo is trying to hold... He definitely does not want to give up Cho, but everybody else is posturing so weakly over on Varmkorv, not everyone's on the same pace. The soldiers come in now from those forward respawns, and they could have maybe got Fios, but there's just not that follow-up.
Wait, there's a soldier on the other side.
Aaron coming in big for his team, so now they just need to blob up around Xiao, and it should be easy. I think both of these soldiers are in cafe. You couldn't think of a more, mouse trap area to keep these soldiers pinned.
Truly Bulgaria's strongest soldier. Let's see if they can keep up momentum from here. Like I said, I mean, if they're winning one more round, this comeback is so difficult for Garda to make already, regardless of how difficult it is already has been looking to begin with. And they have the momentum to very much just clean up from here. This is looking all green light for Varmkorv boogie.
Yeah, it's not super solid from Varmkorv, but it's like good enough. And these good enoughs are just sailing them away because Garda are just desperately hitting their head against the wall, trying to get this game back in control. And the Uber comes in now. They take out the sentry gun, tick. Let's see if they can actually get some damage on any of these flanking classes. They reconnect with their flank as well. That's a nice load of damage. They're keeping people alive, even some cap time. They go back for the soldier arbor. They want frags. They don't want the point, and they'll get a second point as well. They've earned their cushion this time.
Sometimes it's not about winning, it's about sending a message, and we're gonna kill every single one of you before we win this round. And only then do we put you out of your misery. 2 up, 6 minutes left to go. They just got into Pram, but it sure feels like they've been here.
Yeah, it's probably just the morale a little bit broken from Garda in this map. I think it really sucks how they lost that first round, and from there gave a bit of sail as well to Varmkorv. But a new mid, a new dawn, and again, same defensive posture as we saw last time. They just nuke the first player that goes into their half of the map, and they're going to try and go aggressive now, but I think they played it a bit finer on Garda just by sending a simple soldier in and then all collectively just blobbing across. But somehow, just from like the position or just whoever was hitting their frags or their damage a bit better, they've managed to just hold on to this mid.
One last attempt coming through by the red flanky, maybe trying to, enable a repush as well. I mean, we've seen this plenty of times out of Garda now. They don't want to give up mid fights at all. If there's a chance to repush, they're gonna take it. And they're gonna get the first goal of the blue team right away, which they badly need. They're only 95, they gotta get actually out of here real quick.
Yeah, they're actually backed out and they're rotating around, ready to take this aggressive Uber in. They've only got 4 players in the mix of the 6 though. They get straight on top of Xiao, so I don't know what the plan was there. I guess it's back cap time? Yep, back cap time.
Oh, cute shots.
Nice crossbow coming out from Fios as well, and that keeps the hopes of this second point alive. They do cap it, so it's going to be annoying, but another soldier throws in as well.
Ox gambled incorrectly as well.
They need to cap the point though. There we go. They
didn't forget, yeah. Ox had like a chance to just jump in later and just kill everyone, but he gambled wrong on where the medic was positioned. Didn't know for sure. That call must have like slipped past in the middle of just like, oh, we done good damage, get in there. But jump point instead of the low ground where Xio just wasn't sitting, unfortunately. Doesn't get that kill, and that would have been a huge game changer. Suddenly, it's still all steam ahead on the side of Garda, who badly need a quick round right here.
Alright, the round reset is taken out of the equation.
Heavy once again,
oh my god, the medic going down to the forward heavy.
He gets
and even gets the respawn back as well. Cheeky is they have 3 players left. Let's see if they can kind of... I don't think they're keeping any sort of flank open over on Varmkorv, so they will get a kill onto Ox, who enters a choke on his own, because they're just so worried about a back cap over on Varmkorv that they would rather just going super slow.
Not bad, not bad. Jump scare heavy from the forward spawn doors. Like, this is the best map to do it on, I think, as well. Like, so often there are people just passing by there, and doesn't get much better than that. Don't have to hit the difficult snipe, but you can just sit there for 2 seconds. Not even that, for like a full second, just get the beam on them and get the kill. Force out of this one is a bit rough, I suppose, but I think the problem also is how many people are dying out of the whole
thing. Yeah, we're losing our head just a little bit and seem a bit scrambled about where everybody is over on Varmkorv. They do lose a lot of casualties on Garda though, so it does not make for the easiest kind of turnaround, let's just say, for the rest of the round.
They keep Fios alive, so they have momentum, they have the Uber. And they also might have a problem? Oh, duh, man, he doesn't hit that. Archie almost just got gifted that opportunity.
Kritzkrieg, heavy weapons guy, sentry gun, everything is being bought out for this last. I think it's not even about making sure you 100% defend it, but like just take a lot of time in doing so. You can play the clock now.
But I don't know if they have the time for that right now, though. The Uber's already in. Doesn't matter how many off-classes they have. They're getting in there for the damage. Get 2 already. Throw themselves on point. Are taking a lot of damage doing that, though. They might overstep their welcome a little bit. 1 point too early. Medic with the saw wants to get in there. Anyone stepping off the point, anyone dying. Just would be enough cap time, but it's just not quite enough. Everyone on Varmkorv boogie there to block that thing and just barely outdamage them despite using 2 players to do a charge.
Yeah, Erentra doing a lot of work there, a lot of damage being laid out, and just those last little moments as well, just to kind of keep yourself alive a little bit longer. I noticed that Yumpo was running around on the point with like 1 HP, just blocking it while the soldier's being plucked up in the air, so that makes the difference, you know.
I had 2 minutes left here. They now switched off the crit streak as well. I guess they figured there was no time for that. And I mean, if you just hit 1 good crit in this game, I guess, in this situation more specifically, that's just enough, right? You kill them, and that's just wasting enough time to waste so much. They can't get 2 more rounds. Oh. That's all they really need. Bomb comes through, but Bot's taking like 150 before even really going anywhere in the sky. Second bomb denied as well. Making got a bit closer, but still is not quite enough. And
they're trying to find
that is out of firepower so much.
They aren't even going aggressive with the crits. I thought they would have a little bit of fun with it, but they're worried about a scout behind, and they know that the only line they have to lose this round is a back cap, so they're pushing in from choke. They have an Uber charge. They've used it now in response to this crits being popped off by Yumpo. He gets melted by the Uber, but it allows the rest of his team to get out, essentially. I say that, and Omga's still hanging about in a second.
Kind of worse than that. They didn't even force through the crit streak. They forced to like a projectile directly hitting Fios before the crits even happened, and they just crits in response.
Oh,
just doesn't really do anything in the end. They get even point.
Pressure on point. That's a cap point if I've ever seen one. So it is 2-1. It's not possible, I think, between the rollouts and just capping everything. You'd have to. No, it's just not possible.
That sounds like hater talk. Chad, any believers here? Press 1 if Garda.
If you think I'm hating, you must hate math.
I do, in fact, actually do that, so that's very correct. And Garda needs to hate Marvel right now. They need to defy reality and live in their dream world.
At least, Erentra gets to at least do that cool little rollout. I guess the insta-killer demo man. That's always fun.
But Strat dream world, just go to bed, I guess, never mind.
Alright, so you got your first kind of upset of the season straight out of the gate, Dum Tum. Are you shocked? Are you surprised?
Who knows if this is the upset of the season? The season just started.
No, but I mean, not the season, of a season, you have one. But one of your upsets to add to your long list. What a way to start the season, surely, Dum Tum. Are you not
the witness takes a break for 1 minute and suddenly all mayhem breaks loose in Premiership. Everyone just thinks they can do it now. It's fight for survival up here to even get into playoffs, let alone winning it all. And Varmkorv boogie, I mean, regardless of how map 2 goes now, suddenly part of the conversation. Beating 4th place from last season.
Now we can just make
1.
Let's look at one map and let's take absolute wild accusations of what could happen. Is this what Witness are truly scared of? Is Varmkorv boogie here for everybody's map points?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's more what I said. It's just the Witness isn't filtering out everyone below them from even getting close to winning, and suddenly there's a chance. It feels like.
I like to jest. Alright, let's have a look at these logs. Let's see if we can make wild propaganda out of these logs as well. Erentra looks like he was having a fun time, and realistically, I don't see too many soldiers topping the charts in these sorts of games. Maybe because that last defense was quite clutch, and also there was a lot of stalemating in between. The only people that are kind of going in and fishing for things are those little roamers, those little pockets. So yeah, happy time to be a soldier, I guess, unless you're manky.
Hugely top fragging on Scout is so funny to me, because in my brain, this guy is still a demo main, which he used to be like years ago at this point. It's not even recent at this stage anymore. But I remember the times when this guy was a demo main. It's so long ago at this point, and now he's just a Prem Scout, you know? It's weird, almost in a way, but they grow up so fast.
So, who are we pointing fingers at, Dunton? Who's like, good God, man, you need to step up your video game?
I want to blame Josh for not playing for Garda tonight.
I think they were making like all the right decisions generally.
Honestly, you're not completely wrong. It didn't look bad for the most part, and I did like a lot of the re-pushes they had into mid as well.
Just the first round, that pesky first round that they get, and they just hold it, lord it over them, and then play.
Honestly, you're right. This is really the big difference maker. Both teams went at long last stalemate, and just one team was able to do it.
On the bright side, though, we're going to go for a completely different swatch change of a map, going from a different game mode as well. So it is going to be King of the Hill, and it's going to be Bagel. So if you are losing, you have tools at your trade to actually make a comeback here, and effectively, taking turns at who's winning, who's losing should kind of give who's the more solid team rather than who can just pluck out a random round and just play lame.
It will be a very different one. You're right in that part. I'm also trying to check, and Garda did not play an official on Bagel last season, that they won at least. They might have lost one. I only checked if Scotland, so it actually got around at least, or like a map. So if they played Bagel, they didn't do well on it last season.
That's wild to me that you can just avoid an entire map throughout an entire season. But with the little sort of picks and bans that everyone might not be familiar with, it is possible.
Okay, so they played it against Mandem and Witness, exactly.
Oof.
So I don't think any storyline I want to construe from them not winning it. Little bit of a moot point in the end, I think.
Well, I mean, it's been in the season for a decent amount of time now. People pug on it. They double scrim on it, all this stuff like that.
Varmkorv, for their part, I'm pretty sure played this in both semis and grands last season against Alex's team. So they played good teams on it, and I think they won that one out of those 2 times, and both were really close.
Do you really think it comes down to that sort of past record, or do you think everyone's got like a general gist of it now? I don't think a team needs to so much do their homework on this map anymore. I feel like everyone is kind of caught up with what are the do's and don'ts of the map.
It's probably getting there for a lot of teams, but it's, you watch people play product, and some teams still aren't as good as others by like a long shot, regardless of how good the team is in general. So there's still something you can just improve on all the time. The map plays differently enough for product that you can't just one-to-one copy everything as well, which is why I think it's so nice, because it's so easy to just make a product, can only say it. But
do you have that feeling, Dum-Tum, that people haven't quite figured out the best of the best in this map? Do you think there's more sort of things to uncover? Because for a while, a lot of people just were not playing Product and all these other maps correctly until people just kept playing it over and over and over again. Do you think this map still has, like, I don't know, some hidden gems about it?
I think so. It's early enough, and I mean, Product is a bit more of a simpler game mode in some ways. There's only so many things in comparison to a TP map you have to be good at, but you have to be really good at them because everyone else will also only practice those. So there's still some stuff to be done, and I talked about that earlier actually. So last season, admittedly in lower divisions, but still the point still stands. We've seen a division be won by a team with a heavy playing on this map and a team playing with a demo knight on this map.
My.
Over, and in the meantime, I have not seen anyone unironically play sniper on this map outside of open. So honestly, this map still has a lot of things we can, I think, improve on.
Where could you play? I don't even know where you could even have a sniper on this map and have him do something.
Like, if people would rather play heavy on this map than sniper, and that's the team that does sniper.
I do sympathise having a heavy more than the sniper. I'm taking my camera, I'm just whizzing it round now into potential sniper bits, and I'm like, ugh.
Like, I would like to see someone like really try to bring sniper to this map, but no one really, especially like at a slightly higher level than at least mid, has really pushed or tried to push like for a matter of sniper on this map too much. At least in Europe, I don't know what.
Maybe you could do it if you're doing like a forward hold, believe it or not. You know, where they kind of obviously push through the big door area. You could maybe farm them a bit with that, but it feels just so like specialized. That would be a very, very awkward situation. But
right,
if they push in and that was it.
Okay, to address 2 random points I see in the Twitch chat. First of all, unlike RGL, where you just pick every map each week, or out of every match in the map pool, in Europe you're only given like 5 of the 7 or 8, whatever we have each season.
It's like a mini map pool.
Yeah, you get to pick from like 3/4 of the map pool, predetermined which maps it are each week as well. So like this week you can play these 5 maps, and then like 2 out of those out and 2 of us in, and so on and so on. So you can't literally play the same map every season, although you can probably play one a lot more than others, I guess. But it works in a way that sooner or later you'll be forced to just, like, if you have 2 maps you don't want to play, you can't avoid one forever, basically, if people know as well that you add on it. For example, with the COP maps we have, there's 2 weeks where both COP maps are legal to pick. I don't even know if this is one of those weeks. I don't think so. But there's 2 weeks each season now where both COP maps are pickable, which means if you don't want to play COP, you can't avoid it forever.
Yeah, and I think it's to create those sort of situations as well where, some teams would just get an unfortunate map like sort of linked up with them, and they just couldn't avoid it, and it's like the map that causes upsets. Mainly looking at product from previous seasons against like any Southern lineup was
we'll see, though.
Anyway, if you're just joining us, this is our awesome season of ETF2L, and it's 2023. It's I, Turbotabs, and Dumtum, and Dr. Underscore. We're covering Garda versus Varmkorv. I forgot the name for a second there.
You're doing better than me. I keep calling him Sweden. I don't even have Swedes on the roster anymore at this point. Well, I guess they're Fuji. Never mind, that's one. It's come a long way since they were like very Swedish.
No,
they've come a long way in many ways. They've won last season, winning a game in Prem now as well, but it's far from over yet. Bagel up next. Sort of a newer map overall in Europe, but since its inclusion a little while ago, it's become fairly popular in the short time it's been here. Let's see if these two teams it's been popular with. It needs to be if they want to win this one. It's coming out very early, but it gets the demo man down.
I think what really hurts about that aspect is they were forced to use their Uber, but they didn't even kill the person that forced them. Aaron just got out for free, so it's no even sort of trading situation. It was just kind of a superior Uber in every way.
Okay, well, sort of a few stragglers that caused some trouble, including the Met going down in the end, so that's not bad at all. And once again, reminder chat for anyone, not up to speed. The season's just starting. This is the first game of the season here as well, so this time slot from now on. Mostly Thursdays, Sundays, but random other weekdays as well. Expect more days to be covered here with TF2L content at the same time slot roughly for European TF2. We're just getting started, and there's some heavy hitters left to be seen this season that we haven't had our eyes on yet, so who's to know if anyone here even would contest for a top spot at the end, but you need these points to get the players first of all. Varmkorv with the lead on map 1, of course, set up pretty nicely to get most points of the week already, but they're not done yet on Garda. Bombs come through, they're trying desperately to get to this medic, but it's not quite enough.
And they even cap point as well. It does have the kind of tooth edge of if you cap that point, your respawn is just lack that oomph compared to the enemy team, but the situations where they were a bit weak just weren't kind of taken advantage of by Garda, and yeah, there seems to be trades going all the sides as well between the flanks of both of these teams. Trading.
Yeah, it's just the dynamics shift so much with the cap being so quick on this map. You have to be on point a lot more to block it as well. Just can't sit back that much as you can on product a lot of the time as well. And it just makes everything play out just a tiny bit differently here as well. For now, gets the point back for Garda. Did lose a little bit of time, not 40 seconds quite behind, but just about as the respawns are coming in from blue already. So once again, quickly back to point. After better respawns, of course, not being in point possession here. So right back into the action it goes for the blue team, hitting some good damage on point, but dying for 4 damage. Rush to the flank doesn't exactly work out as intended. I think one of the scouts ate a pipe, and a sticky right after. That's 3 for 2, however, as the red soldier and the Demoman desperately try to make up for the losses here, but they need to be careful.
Gosh, there were a lot of digging deep between everybody there to just kind of find these frags and keep each other alive. And Varmkorv did very, very good at just like focus firing people that had the goal to block this point while they're trying to cheekily cap it. And Garda, they were a little bit slow off the mark to punish such capping.
All going fine so far on the side of Varmkorv boogie. I have the lead on the timer, keeping alive just fine. Fiosa's behind. Aaron Tree is just having the numbers so far.
Don't know what the objective of that jump was there, Mankey, but we'll pretend we didn't see that.
He tried his best, and really that's all that counts, right?
So they've got kind of playing passive mode, I guess, waiting for all their players to come back up. Theos is back now. Everyone should be getting heals for Garda, but nobody even playing any sort of flanks or shenanigans whilst they wait for all their ducks to get in a row.
It's just so big that they don't have to worry about Uber so much. Fios just died way too many times, it feels like, already, to just random plays happening on autoplays, and already taking so much damage. You can't stay in. How are they going to continue to cap if they just don't have heals anymore?
Aaron is fishing for something. People are weak enough and will eventually bring one player down, but it's trade. It seems to be always a nice little trade for Varmkorv, and maybe you're right with these sort of official matches kind of giving a bit more credence to their map gameplay, as Varmkorv go in with the Uber charge now. It's the freest Uber you've ever seen. Uber charge against a non-Ubered medic. It's a tail orders time.
Yep, everyone's falling apart here after the Met dies. It's just Varmkorv having full control of the situation. Once again, last-ditch effort here to get to the medic. 3 pipes, 1 will hit, good enough. as long as she stays alive. I have to recap actually as well. It's a bit awkward. They delay down spawns a little bit here. But, I mean, that's the age-old question. If you're so low on time, do you want to delay your spawns in exchange to just force them into overtime sooner a little bit?
They keep capping the time. They don't care about their spawns at all. Enough to make me question whether or not that's even a factor on this map. Because
like,
it
just is different because of the faster cap time, right? Like, you just get the cap so fast that you might just rather want the extra time real quick that you wouldn't nearly get as fast on product.
Yeah, but they enter the fight.
Bomb on the medic! The escape plan doesn't hit! No, Bud is missing the melee attack!
Oh, Chio is still staying in there throughout all of this, and it's not really helping anybody. Aaron jumps in for the medic on Fios, doesn't quite get him.
That's still so much advantage to get out of that though, not on Uber, but just on damage right now. Shappy's down for another 8 seconds. Omega and Henry is spawning now.
They do have Uber charge, but I don't think they should assume they don't have it over on Garda, so they're going to play this sheepishly, I think.
I mean, as long as they play this like remotely smart, one good exchange is just all they need anyway,
oh yeah,
right?
it's 1 second left, my god. So
it is overtime, effectively. They take the fight early. Medics and the red team in general just want to not even get them close to point. The more cap time they give them in the middle of nothing is just so bad, because you just can't leave point if you give them any more.
Yeah, the scouts feel tethered again to the point and can't really help these flank fighters. And there we go. It will go towards Varmkorv in this first round. A morale breaker, to say the least.
Yeah, at like low times, having the lead is so much better, I feel like, on this map than on product. Because the cap time is just so much more scary in this map at the end. You can't leave this thing behind for even a second. You can't leave the point uncontested whatsoever at the end. And it just makes winning position so much harder to come back from at the tail end of a round. You just gotta be very careful how you look like in the end game on this map.
Alright, the flank, I think, from Garda needs to kind of cool it a bit, just chill the Jets ever so slightly, because they seem to be losing out their lives a little bit, and it's kind of costing them, so... The mid will ring out, nobody will be the one jumping across. I like this slow style of gameplay. Let's see, as Arantra is the one fishing now to see if he can get that kill onto Bud, and Bud has died so many times now. Oh god, actually might actually get cleaned up by Demoman instead, but Bud actually finds his way detouring and getting a couple of kills, and the rest of the team just falling like dominoes.
Another melee kill at the end, sure, why not? Sometimes you just get the scout with that. Alright, at least gotta get the mid win here. It might matter a little bit, but with Xeo living, it's sure not to be uncontested for very long at the point, so not a cozy stay whatsoever, especially with late deaths as well. Yanan and Mankey actually getting the same spawn wave late here, so...
and not many red players to back it up. They're already onto the point like absolute locusts.
Oh, Medic's taking so much damage.
It's okay though, I think everyone's doing alright. They're just playing a bit more slow. They actually used the Uber early over on Garda, and it's fortunate that the right hand house of Yarlin did a lot of work there during all this Uber charge, otherwise it would have been... I wonder what the purpose of the Uber would have been.
Manic from the sideline sneaks in behind that main door into lobby. It's just recipe for disaster so many times in the middle of messy fights like this. Just no one watches one entrance into the lobby area and suddenly there's just someone right on top of your medic leaving late. The other way around.
Well, those some unfortunate rockets from Aaron. The scouts being thrown in as well. They're finally
we're not getting there. That's a brave repush considering they're already just not having many numbers up, and now they're losing a scout right away as well. Bit of a rough one, but they're believing. They're not giving up any space at all. They just want to get in while Red also splitting numbers a little bit.
I'm surprised they just don't throw everybody. They've got more numbers. They can just run across from the point, but instead just want to really play it safe. Maybe they know that they've got this Ubercharge advantage, and they're just going to get it eventually, but they will lose a bit of cap time because of that patience.
Yeah, it is relevant enough to matter, so Garda playing into that might just be a safe thing to do. I don't know if it's a better thing
No, they just want to cap the point again and exchange it off.
It bombs across off the damage by Shaft.
And also, Mankey is doing a nice job on the flanks as well. So do you notice the difference between these house controls between both teams? Now it's switched the other way. It seems so much more breathing room for Garda.
And the difference between the two rounds is very noticeable already. Garda with just infinitely more point control, but they look a lot more confident taking here as well. With any situation they're taking deep over a point, any fight they're taking is just a lot more committed, a lot more purposeful, it feels like, right away. Does make a big difference here. Forward hold is a bit split in attention. No one really doesn't want to watch the right door, but getting badly surprised with the soldiers getting in there in the end, losing 3 people already. Maybe Shappy's attention a bit too focused on one scout on the left instead. will cost them a couple of players here, but as the Ebos are coming out, it might not be that bad. Getting some late kills and not some bad ones either, but the spawn times are just rough. And no V for Shappy, and it's making bad things even worse as Fios has no one to escort him back out anymore. That is going to be finally Varmkorv boogie coming back into the swing of things, but they have a big comeback to make so.
Yeah, they just managed to get through the little door easier on Varmkorv. They had one soldier watching it from Garda, but it just didn't seem enough to deal with 4 players. And I think maybe the rotation either could have come earlier, or maybe even get Shappy involved in that. But I think I turned my camera and I saw they were pushing through big door as well with on the flank. So I don't know what the pro of this defense was.
We'll see how the defense of the point looks like for now as well, and it's a very passive one. They want to just really keep their battle alive, and they're doing a better job of it on Varmkorv than on the Garda anyway, and they still haven't lost point yet as well. It's wide open in all of this, but they're just looking for other kills in the meantime. Now they really have to look for the bad kill as well, as things are falling apart a little bit. Do get that force, still no cap for them. I guess, well, Fierce is spawning, it's a bad idea anyway, but suddenly it's just a bunch of headless chickens running around, but maybe a couple of people behind isn't that bad in the end. They could still make some big damage out of this, and there we go. They're getting in, but from behind, 2 for the price of a little bit more than 1. Yalen also dies, but I mean, they're trading at 4 foot in the end, so that's a price factor, just having everyone stay in the walls behind them, basically.
Yeah.
After the med already went down on their part, just works out surprisingly.
Yeah, it was a big delta split, and I think they probably could have just opted to move into a house with the medic and just play a bit more safely that way. At least have you back to the wall, so you're not at least being shot from 5 different angles. It could just be 2. But live and let learn. They've got an overcharge advantage over on Garda, but they're probably just going to give up this point to keep it held down for now.
With the recap though, they're going down 2 players as well, no soldiers, so much spam missing across the point. Impo can't do it all by himself, let alone the scouts making up the losses here as well. Maybe a quick kill on the flank would be nice, but Mankey staying alive while the cap time's going through, and they just need to stay alive at the point for a little bit longer. The Uber sure makes that a whole lot easier, going in, getting them off the point, and getting that round. A big comeback from Garda. This looked a whole lot better than the first round of the map. And with a scoreline of 3 being needed to win, this is very much still doable for them.
Yeah, I gotta give credit to Bud and Mankey for like changing something on the flank, or something has happened. Some switch has been made for them to not die as much, and I'm seeing the differences, I think, in these like overall big scale fights with their presence still there.
Alright, here
big
we
bomb.
go. High bomb coming through. Not very committed with this one. Just a fake bomb for now. See this ever so often, but the question is what you do once you did fake, right? It still has to accomplish something, and for now, they don't have the time to settle for a second play. They just didn't get the bombs, and huge pipe from Impo. Shoots but into the floor from the skybox. Get down, my guy. You are not going anywhere.
Yeah, and they are playing from the corner. It's going actually pretty well. I don't know why Varmkorv even have to take this fight necessarily. I think they did lose Shio, but I think that's just because they were posturing so aggressively. I think they could have just been happy with claiming the point, and then just like maybe, you know, you can guard flanks, but like just not be in their corner.
Again, I have to keep asking, where were these Impo shots when they were on Crit Creek earlier? It's a good thing they won that map, otherwise this would be something they would never let them live down. For now, it's fine. They can hit these all they want. If they're not winning mid-fight, I guess it still doesn't really matter in the end either, so I guess he just needs to hit more of these.
Garda,
Hugely is all the way behind. What? How did he get that?
Yeah, he did take the longest route round. I think he was still alive from some previous bouts, and there we go. It's paid off by getting a kill onto Bud and laying some sort of paranoia in the back of the mind. He might get Shappy, doesn't quite, as he doesn't find the shots on him. But they always have Varmkorv this advantage of like playing the point. The bait seem to be very, very strong at just like cheesing out this point with any sort of cheeky cap time in the mean, but it seems these soldiers have kind of switched roles with Garda. They want to go into these just single bombs into 4 people, and believe it or not, they're not working, Dunto.
Well, you gotta keep trying though, right? What if it works eventually?
No.
That's really the mantra here maybe, but for now, Garda takes the point back, a little bit behind on timer, but I mean, they had a Uber now, but finds the kill, will die for that promptly, but who cares? The projectile left the launcher.
And because of this, the Garda are actually going back and playing this very, very arm's length sort of TF2. They do lose Fios, but I think it was a decent bit of committal, and they haven't capped the point as well over on Varmkorv, so there's a bit of time being plunked away.
Uh-oh, Medic's behind him here. Did get noticed. There we go, Scout falls back. They realize it doesn't matter though! We just get bodied as well. Melee coming out for Xeo. Wants to just get closer to the Scout for some reason, but luckily the rest of the team bails him out of walking into this next incoming meat shot there as well. Disaster denied. And with that, they haven't fallen behind on the timer too much. Garda just waiting for respawns, has to wait for another one here as well, buys them a lot of time. Big pipe by Shappy once again. Shoots him onto the floor. That was like Baby's first air shot, but he did him hit in the air. That does still count, I think, for the logs at the very least.
Yeah, they should definitely play off this. A Down man advantage is a big thing to have on this point, so... And there we go, playing the point now. They might have Ubercharge, I think, a bit ahead of time, and maybe they could throw some people in onto Xiao, but I think that is the main sort of guard and focus of this Varmkorv lineup going into this mid. And yeah, they won't have to use Uber, I think. They've managed to get the mid back without having to expend it.
This round is very closely contested though, both timers halfway down. No clear advantages just yet, other than errantry not quite being spawned up yet properly, but it's not going to stop either side. Both teams playing aggressively on point, wanting this exchange. One that takes a lot of damage, can't really be part of it too much just yet, and will go down for it too.
So witness Uber, so they just kind of solo in a scout in, and they're going to see how they do in the post fight. And the post fight looks a lot more strong for Garda. I think this is almost something you should rely on a lot more. Take these Uber exchanges if it's going to end like this all the time.
Yeah, if they keep finding the positions and times to throw the soldiers in the middle of the fight right after the war ends, then I mean, what are you going to do? You need to concern yourself with the soldiers, but then the scouts get in as well. Beautiful timing for Garda to make it all fall into place.
I think it is, yeah, like you said, they're falling into place. I think these soldiers are gaining their confidence back, and now not only they're keeping their flanks safe, but they're also going in for these sort of collapses and bombs and doing it successfully. It's like a little mini character arc in the middle of a Bagel map.
Well, let's hope for Garda's sake that the character development arc is not quite over yet. The Bagel arc just starts and doesn't end disastrous like this right now. 2 down early is a bit of a problem.
They do have an Uber though, so maybe they can think about going back in with this. Fios wants to go in. They've got Mendex pop in now. They've tried to hunt down Xiao, but Xiao is out. Scout taxi.
Well, you can go in with the Uber, but should you is a whole different question.
I think it was just you just didn't have somebody launching quick enough. Maybe like a demo man going in, double sticky or something. Really get on top and shut out that medic. Or maybe they just didn't see him as well. I think they were just trusting that Uber charge to do a lot more, and you don't have that sort of post-collapse anymore.
It's going to be a tough one. Varmkorv not quite ahead yet, but with this advantage, they should at least take the lead here into the last few seconds. That's enough to take it home from here. It's really just dependent on if this Uber does anything at all, and they are keen for that.
Oh my. Yeah, they just want to take lives, it seems, with the Uber charge. I mean,
people are dying, but
it's like one,
not entirely the correct ones.
It's okay. I mean, hold a forward hold, but they are going to get an Uber charge eventually.
Gonna take its sweet time right now, though. First of all, they got to get out of the spawn area as well, which is working eventually. You're getting delayed quite a bit by the bombs, but they're taking them down as well. So while they're losing some time, they still have enough to get back to the point here in the wake of no soldiers for the blue team. Get this cap wrapped up. Big 30 seconds. It's such a short time in any other sense of reality, but right here, right now, it feels like so much time you need. So the Uber really needs to get them there, and this Uber needs to be a lot better than what we've seen before. And with Venek dying early this time out, that lacking some damage. Flank weak as well, get butt too.
Surely they should know they had an Uber charge ahead of...
They waited too long already, because he was about to get it.
Yeah, they had some, and now it's finally popped off for Varmkorv as well, because they got no overcharge.
Too. They gave them everything. They gave them time, they gave them point overtime as well. And the Uber comes out in the end with all the time given to them that it's just an easy fight to win. Garda, not realizing their advantage at the last second of the round, will cost them badly, and suddenly it's match point for the half-prem debutant squad.
I can see why they don't want to go aggressive with the Uber like that, because I think that's how they lost their foothold in the previous time, was just using this Uber on Mendex and couldn't find Xiao with it, so they kind of lost a lot of power in that sort of exchange, and now they just didn't want to do it again. But I guess it's really hard to kind of make these overcorrections not happen.
Well, they still have a bit of time to undercorrect the overcorrection now and just land somewhere perfectly in the middle. That so much of this last round did look like it was going to be as well. Big damage early out of the side of Garda bodes well. Instead of a play behind it is a huge nuisance while the rest of the team just tries to clean up over the point, but they get the guy behind it. It might just be all that matters. Xio needs to lift this one as the chase comes through. That will waste some time. Needs to connect with Scout quick to be safe, but there was like 2 people in front of them, 1 behind, and they got the only one that mattered. The guy behind did not block off the exit.
Okay, so we come back in, both Ubers on both teams. They actually get Aaron on the flank, so that's pretty good. They can now just purely focus on this midpoint and just how Varmkorv like to kind of weasel this point away. But nobody wants to go aggressive with you. Oh, actually, there we go. Uber popped onto Hugie now, and they respond with Menex, so they just can't find anybody else to fire at, I think, and yeah, they just play a bit slower. Where is the rest of Garda, by the way?
Well, one of them's dead, and that one's the medic, which might be the worst one to be dead in this situation. Bombs come through desperately, but none of this damage actually hits the medic until the bitter end, and then suddenly there's just a scout jump scare yet again.
I mean, I could have sworn I was looking. I've got like wall hack and a camera in the sky. I'm looking for Garda. Where are they? And then they appear onto the same square for a moment, and the soldier just nukes them.
Maybe the problem is that they're in the walls instead of with the medic currently. Cost them a little bit here, but maybe not too much time since they're
They
getting
had the
fast
fortunate
response.
Uber as well. They could have come in, but I guess they were just all doing side quests and full aggression from Varmkorv, and I think they're being punished so.
Xio's on the main quest. He gets bomb, turns himself into a bomb on Shappy. Still dies in the end, so even Garda very much knows the objective right there. Gets that kill, gets the cap. That cap hurts a little bit. Fields gets the worst spawn, of course, but ultimately times for the match are still fine insofar that they get even Uber, at least not disadvantage.
Mikey can't quite find the kill onto him. Alright, it's like it's almost like a soft mid for both of these teams. Let's see how they go about it. Varmkorv just sticking with what they know is just trying to sneak that point away from them, and they do it so well. Pressured onto the demo man. They do lose Onga, so some sign of weakness in this armor for Varmkorv, and Fios goes down? How the?
Sometimes Aaron Trier just does it like that, and this is one of those times. Just lives on the flank, gets in for free, and the rest of the red team just desperately getting in there to double up on that. At least it works, but costs them 3 people.
Yeah, they literally see red, and they want to go for the kill when your medic goes down and there's that bum rush towards the enemy. I mean, the only thing I think Varmkorv could have done is maybe barreling your medic into a house area. Maybe he might be a bit safer there. I don't know.
Whatever the case, it's been a big old mess. Garda is pretty good at plan Bs, but the plan A has been leaving something to be desired this past few minutes.
Alright. What have we got for us, Garda? How are you taking this fight? They find Ox hiding in the area, so that's a free kill. So this is already a good start. Mankey's got a nice kill onto the medic. They just need to play safe now. Right on top of Fios, and Fios is already being jumped in the same breath that I was thinking of this sort of thought. And God, this Fios is doing a good job of dodging all this incoming fire, and will clutch it for his team.
Mission ends in 60 seconds.
Yeah, that's gonna just about work out here. A minute left on Varmkorv boogie as the cap for Garda comes back through. Not too far behind on time at all. Certainly enough of a distance that one Uber charge that goes well can both get them there and keep them in a winning position as well. So all eyes on Garda to turn this one back around.
They have Uber advantage. If they see Xiao in a sort of compromising position, I think they should go for the Uber. And I think, look, I like it. They're going in with Menex now. They're right on top of Xiao. Really trying to commit inside, but does get his way out into the fight. But they get a lot of kills, though, for this little exchange. So it's still pretty good to say this is the plan B.
It is getting to the right direction. Uber advantage swings back to
Hold
Xio's
close.
hand, however, so let's see if they can do something good with this one. Do hold forward. You need to be good at the forward hold on this map. Keeping point control after the forward hold is a lot harder.
They should theorize that they have an Uber charge close to now. Will they use, I think, just on the door? Yeah, they do use on the door. The soldiers can try and get out here. Maybe even get some cheeky kills. But yeah, they just get out very effectively. Very nice from Garda. Going perfectly to plan so far.
Alright, not bad, not bad. Get the point back
Good.
quickly. Still 30 seconds behind. Bombs coming in, but gets the kill once again. The flank for Garda working overtime this round to bring this one back. Fios still some trouble. He needs to watch out. There's still, 2 people left, but they swayed off some of them already, so maybe they're in the clear now? It's a bit rough because spawn times, of course, are not in the favor of red anymore. So as much as they're getting closer to 0, they will not do that for much longer.
They're giving up the point. I thought they would like try.
I
and
mean, they
block
were
that.
numbers down pretty bad. And do you want to use Uber into 2 people?
No,
I
don't
think
use
so.
the Uber. Just block the point.
It can go so wrong so quickly there, though, if you just let them take the fight that easily.
We use the Uber now. We're trying to get on top of Zhao and look, the much better collapse this time. Nice little jump from Shio though to actually dodge that sort of Uber charge exchange, and during all that focus onto the medic, the flank is doing numbers to the poor Garda. Fortunately, they have maybe a bit of time on their side now. They just have to maybe fight around or away from this point for a little bit.
Xeo, please heal someone. You're at 86%. Stop arrowing the guy in the sky and heal your teammates. They almost have this crit click up. This needs to be crit click redemption arc if they want to bring this one back. Because after this mess on the point right now, it might just be all it comes down to. Just swap to the sticky on crit click and suddenly just melt them all as well. Get Yarlin early already. The swamp coming through. Nice pipe right away. Gets Mankyo to the equation early. I'm surprised they're going in like this. I guess they're thinking it's normal. We want to see it forced out early because otherwise you don't stand a chance. But what chance are they have against the crit click on point? Just sitting there waiting for them to come forward as well. One crit click on the point. Gets the scout of the point. Devilman eats like 150 damage. Falls off the cap as well. Doesn't get anywhere close to this. And there we go. Varmkorv boogie gets the 3-1 victory in their first game in Premiership.
Damn, that hurts the soul to watch a bit. I think they obviously brought it into overtime. They could have just played a bit more away from the point because they know that they're tethered to the point over on Varmkorv. So they could just like leave for like a hot second. You know, you've got a medic, you've got all these other players. You could just come in for pick up a health back and then maybe think about coordinating back in 10 seconds later, 5 seconds later. But it's hard to do in the heat of the moment, you know.
Yeah, there you go. That's big points to get as well. This season, I am pretty confidently predicting will be very highly contested at every single position. So this is a huge swing of points to get and a huge swing of points in return on Garda to just be losing right away. This might cost them badly. I mean, remember, once again, last season, they got playoffs by a 1-point margin. So not even that, by like tiebreaker head-to-head win, right? Actually. So the fact that this is like 6 points lost entirely is kind of rough.
I'm looking at the logs. Menex with the most damage in the server. I think that's just from all the Ubers. I'm just a bit. I feel like I'm the one to blame in a way because I agreed with the decisions that Garda was making about going in with the Uber, trying to get on top of Shio, but they were just getting out somehow a little bit on their classes, or they were tunnel vision so much that obviously if they don't get the med pick, it's doing for a bad time because their flank is being suffering or getting like focused on by 5 other players. And yeah, I think those low like decisions to go in Uber either need to be like slowed down and see what's going off, what's being played, or who's better to like how you even take that sort of initial Uber in fight in that sort of drawing board aspect.
This is
or
a beautiful
maybe
game.
I'm just overviewing or overhyping the amount of work a Uber into a medic at that point in the game does.
If nothing else, this is a beautiful game in at least the sense that log-brain individuals get a reality check. That better number doesn't equal winning the game. Garda had more kills, more damage, mostly like outnumbered everyone in their position, like to a decent degree, if not did at least just as well as them. Had just as many Ubers, if you discount the one crit click in the end, that admittedly barely even was needed to win, to be honest. They had more everything. Except rounds at the end. That's just beautiful.
It was very close, though. Extremely close on both sides. A lot of adjusting, I think, mostly from Garda. And Varmkorv were just like, I'm just going to take a crack at what I'm good at and keep doing it over and over again. I think they fight for the point or cheese out the point very well. And, kind of bait those people onto the point and then, really slap at them to kind of punish them. And it's a treat to watch.
What they had also, unfortunately, a bit more on Garda, and for what it's worth, it's not like it didn't happen to Varmkorv boogie as well, it just happened more to them by a little bit, was these just like random out of nowhere mad devs, right? We had a couple at the end where Bud just appears out of nowhere as well.
Yeah.
But the times Errantry just like randomly killed Fios too, it felt like, just suddenly he was in, and we didn't see it coming, they didn't see it coming. I don't know how he sees them before it happens to get in there, but he does. How does he see the world so differently? But they get in there, get these kills, and what it is just a 1 kill difference on the medics in the end. It's it sure felt a little bit worse than that in the end.
I'm just looking at the, that little part of the logs that not many people look at. They look at the bottom, see who's killing who's what sort of flavors of kills everyone's getting, and I want to see what the soldiers are actually fragging and compared to one another.
Well, mostly each other, really.
Yeah, it looks like Bud and Mankey are mainly copping soldiers.
If anything, the med killers.
Whilst the med kills are much more being farmed, I think, by... it just seems like they're getting on top of the medic a lot more. Even though like the stats, actually, from both medics are kind of like similar. Yeah, they're quite similar, so... I wonder how their medic is doing so much. Interesting. This is something to really take to the laboratory, I think, for both teams to kind of scan over. A lot of interesting things to digest.
This does also mean that in the past 2 seasons, Garda still hasn't won a single Bagel game. Statistically, this now means Varmkorv boogie will at least get third. I think is how this works.
I mean, behind every loss there is a lesson, and this has got a match with loads of lessons in it, and I think it will be very interesting as a team and for the growth to look back at this. Who knows? Maybe they can get Coach Josh back in.
Maybe. Well, now this game over, but the week technically barely even started. I'm sure it will keep going into next week, but that's details. Because there's a couple more games left to be played this week. This might be the first one. We have, at some point within the next literally 7 days, I would assume, 4 fans against the Germans. So France won against the Germans, I suppose, is what's happening there in whenever they're playing. We'll see how that goes. Interesting one right away. For fans, obviously, with the narrative of being a really hot playoffs into second place in the end last season. Germans on and off playing all the time, of course. So we know they're good, but roster is pretty different this season. We'll see if that's going to be enough to take home anything from a strong second place team, even though they changed roster a little bit. Because at least one of those guys changed to 3.5 stars, who might not have played in a while. It's the RAF team. From the French side. Making a bit of a comeback here. Can't forget about the fact last time they played, they got third as well. That was behind Witness and Aura, I believe. So they can win games whenever they feel like it, surely. But they are up against on their part against Mandem. So similarly, these returning rosters this season right away thrown into a really tough matchup into the top 3 from last season to see how they stack up. Mandem on their part changed roster a little bit as well. Minus KN and minus Inso, I believe, as well. So notable enough changes to certainly shift dynamics a little bit on the team. Will be interesting to see how they perform. And lastly, as well, a week 1 matchup left to be seen is Havoc against TLR Amps' roster. It's
growing pains.
It's a very, very different roster from I would always love to throw comparison to rosters, but it's just a whole new roster, really. 12 Beyond Amps, left Mac, Nikki. It's just a whole different piece from any of the team we really had so far. We'll be very interested to see how they perform against TLR, who on their part, obviously, speaking of growing pains, had a lot of those last season, but looked pretty alright by the end. Roster largely the same. I think they picked up Pandemic from Swift's demise on Scout, and that's really all they changed. And on paper, last season's roster looked pretty good already, and it certainly does still look really strong this season. So in the power vacuum that Witness leaves behind, I'm sure they're picturing themselves nice playoffs chances, but it's not going to be easy. This season also have many things to go by. No one is safe.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll be here on teamfortress.tv. Do follow us on Twitch and all that jazz. But if you want to keep up with everything, we do update at the site. Just not the news section on teamfortress.tv. Otherwise, I've been Turbo. With me has been Dumtum, and Dr. Underscore has been doing our production. We'll see you guys soon.